has scored his first goal for Leeds United. Oh, Rafinha! Goal is scored by Llorente. Creek with a chance to score.
After a tough week on the road, Leeds are back here at Ellen Road to take on the Gunners and hopefully spread a bit of festive cheer. It's the final one before Christmas. This is the warm-up. Coming up for you on the show this week.
Honestly, I was delighted for him. I was screaming in my living room at home.
I think it was Jamie Carragher that said that he's the best with the ball at his feet in the league, and I agree.
So welcome to the warm-up with NordVPN, the world's leading VPN provider, and there is a deal on screen for you Leeds United fans right now. Joining me, as always, Leeds United legend Dom Matteo. Dom, how are you doing?
Doing great, thank you. I'm
Good.
just happy to, be dressed in this
see.
lovely shirt that I was given to by the club. Amazing.
They call it the warm-up. I'm in short sleeves here. It's like some kind of like irony or something like they've done
You're
before.
looking a bit Australian.
I feel like
you've gone for it, haven't you?
Beer in hand, Christmas is coming,
yeah.
we're good to go.
Good.
Let's get stuck into the football because we've got lots to get through
Yeah.
on this week's show. It's been 2 away performances for Leeds United, contrasting performances as well. Let's start with the first of those. How unlucky were we not to take at least a point from Stamford Bridge?
Yeah, to be honest, the performance was really good, very positive. I think everyone expected us to go to Chelsea and get beat quite comfortably, I think, but it wasn't that way. We performed very, very well, and obviously they got that late winner, which was I think was really hard to take, and maybe put us in the place where we're going to be talking about in a minute. It's like from that great positive Geltart goal, which was amazing for him to get that goal, and obviously it was a great finish as well, and great energy to get into the box. Then obviously to go into the next part of the chat on the Man City game, it was chalk and cheese, isn't it? Because the first, even though we got beat, there was so many positives to take out of that game. And like you say, at some points we knew the qualities of Chelsea, but we did well against them, up against one of the top sides. They got physical presence, which we have struggled with before. But I thought overall we should have got something out of the game. And I know we keep saying that, but at some point we have to make sure that when it is 2-2, that we do keep it at 2-2 and we don't make a silly mistake that can cost you.
Let's talk about that goal for Joffy.
Yeah.
He did a James Milner, didn't he, basically?
He did.
It was absolutely fantastic
Yeah.
to see so quick after coming on. How good a player do you think we've got on our hands here?
I've spoke a few times about him. I don't know him personally, but I've watched him a lot in the 23s this year. And every time I've seen him, and I don't think he's played as much in the 23s because of his commitments with the first team now, I think he's a real star for us for the future, and one that, hopefully we'll see get more game time. I think all the fans are kind of asking that question when I go into the lounge and stuff, why is he not getting more game time? But obviously we know the role that sometimes, Marcelo Bielsa likes to give these younger players a bit more time, let them bed in. But then I think when you've got a talent like him, and he's so positive the way he plays and he gets at people, I was so pleased for the kid that he got his goal. Just gutted for him. He probably couldn't celebrate it because of the result. But yeah, he's got real talent, real energy. He's got a desire to get on the end of things as well, which I love to see. And he looks like he's got a bit about him, a bit of grit. He wants to get stuck in and wade in. Also, as well, he's got the silky skills, which not players have a bit of everything. I think he looks, for a young lad, he looks quite a complete player.
You talk about emotion, from one emotion at that end of the scale all the way to the other. Stuart Dallas, after the Man City game, used the word devastated. That's how the players felt. How do you digest that as a squad? It's a big defeat. How do you make it not affect you, or at least if it's going to affect you in a positive way moving into the next match?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Let's be honest. You'd hope that the group of players, and we all know a few of them, is that they're a strong group. They stick together, and I'm sure after that result there will have been lots of conversations on the coach back, and then when they got back to Thorpe Arch to talk about what actually happened. You have to have that. You have to have that talk, and you need someone like maybe Coops. I know Coops wasn't playing it because of his injury, but you need someone like that to maybe come in and have a chat. Get the boys together and say, listen, we got done, and we got done well by them. City are a top side. They're a world-class team. They've got some great players, but we still shouldn't be getting done 7.
We can't stay on that game for too long, so
No.
can't have you being too downbeat in that
No.
shirt. It doesn't match. You know what I mean?
It doesn't, no.
And you had a heated seat there over in Manchester as well, so that was nice.
It was
for you?
nice, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just looking at the Premier League this weekend, another set of fixtures to come. Let's just look at your predictions, and also one that maybe stands out as well, top against pretty much bottom Man City, go again against Newcastle.
Yeah.
If you're if you're Eddie Howe right now,
Yeah.
the last thing he would have wanted is what Man City did the other night.
For sure. Listen, I witnessed it firsthand, what Man City can do. And like you say, they had a few out as well. But their squad, the depth is ridiculous, isn't it? Let's be honest. And I think Eddie Howe coming into this game will be thinking, damage limitations in a way. But yeah, as a manager and as a player or whatever, you still have to somehow believe you can get something out of it. Otherwise, why we're here? It's just like you don't just turn up to get beat. So they'll have to have some kind of game plan. But against Man City, it's very difficult because, as I said, I witnessed it, and there's so many places where Man City can hurt you, and the way they play, the style of play, it's unbelievable. When it clicks, I don't think you can't defend against it sometimes. And they're so athletic, and there's some big players as well. They've got a physicality about them, City as well, which surprised me a little bit. They've got some top players, and like you say, for Newcastle, I think if they could come away with a point in that game, they would take that all day long, just like we would when we got beat. But that's football, and I think it'll be another hard day at the office.
You're not putting this down as a Newcastle win then?
No, I just think Man City are too good and too strong, and at this moment in time, they can't make any signings. They can soon, and I'm sure they will dip into the transfer market. They'll have to be honest, because their squad's not good enough. Their squad's, for me, there's probably 2 or 3 players you take. The rest of them, I'm not sure what they're going to do. And it's not me having to go at all the players at Newcastle, but the squad isn't good enough. Simple as that.
The safety of everyone is our priority on a match day, and the club are taking necessary steps to keep us all safe, in line with the updated Premier League protocols.
All fans attending games must be prepared to show their COVID pass or a negative COVID test on arrival.
You could be denied entry if you are unable to show either of these.
Everyone must complete the COVID declaration, which will be sent to each fan via email before each match.
It is important to remember that if you have any COVID-19 symptoms, to stay at home.
We're also asking supporters to wear face masks where possible, especially indoors and in congested areas.
Let's help to protect each other and stay as safe as possible, marching on together.
Great tackle from Liam Cooper.
Liam, thanks so much for joining us on the warm-up this week, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Just having a look at the injury situation. I know it's not great in the moment. So how's the squad? Is there any positivity around that? Hopefully there is.
No, it's good. Obviously, it's difficult with all the injuries. When it rains, it pours, I suppose. And we just started getting lads back, and then you pick 3 injuries up in the Brentford game, and you sort of like back to square one again. It's difficult, but as always, we'll never make excuses. We've got a confident group. Obviously, the result the other night was a big kick in the teeth for us, and we know we can do much better than that. And we've got an opportunity to go and do that the weekend. So I'm sure the boys are buzzing to play in that and go make amends. Yeah, of course. The other night, Stuart Dallas said how devastated everyone was feeling and apologised to the fans as well. How do you reflect on that? In context, playing one of the top teams in the Premier League, but probably didn't give the account of yourselves that you would have wanted to. No, for sure. Obviously, Man City are probably one of, if not the best team in Europe at the moment. But the confidence we have and the way we play, we don't expect teams to be able to do that to us. And you've got to take it on the chin. It wasn't good enough, and the boys know that. But as always in football, you've always got another game to go and make amends, and that's the challenge now. The boys was hurting, still are hurting. It's not a nice place to be when you're losing football games in that manner. But like I said, we have some big characters in there, and we've got to drag each other through it and take it on the chin. Backs against the walls and come out fighting, and that's the way it's got to be.
How good is Joffy? I know we all talk about him, and all around the grounds people are looking at this young talent who's come in. And he's been on fire, hasn't he? Obviously hasn't had probably the opportunities that he's wanted. So what we're going to expect for him now going forward? Is he a real proper talent that we can look forward to, hopefully, for the next 10 years of him scoring goals, making chances, etc.?
No, he is, and honestly, I was delighted for him. I was screaming in my living room at home and absolutely buzzing for him. He's worked hard, he's come in, he's bought into what the manager wants, he's stripped the weight, and I see it firsthand every day out on the training pitch how effective he is in those 1v1s and how difficult he is to play against. No, but it's totally deserved. Joffy and Joffy himself has got himself in the shape and got himself to this situation now where he's knocking on the door to play in the first team, and that's only going to benefit us as a group and benefit the young lads as well. They know if they work hard and they apply themselves, there's always going to be a chance under Marcelo and playing in the first team.
It'll be good to be back here at Ellen Road at the weekend. I mean, Arsenal, are in a pretty good groove at the moment. Form-wise, they've been playing pretty well, so it's not going to be an easy game.
No, they are. They've sort of turned the fortunes around. They're a strong team. They've found their way of playing and they're playing well. Obviously, a couple of familiar faces in the squad. Like I said, we've got to bounce back. We're coming off the back of a tough result to take, one that's been an eye-opener and a bit of kick in the teeth, and you've got to come out fighting, like I said, and all the preparation now has started for that game, and we've got to get the fans on board from the first 10 minutes and get going and really dominate the game.
Coops, thanks as always for joining us, really appreciate it, and a big old Merry Christmas to you and yours, mate.
All the best, Coops.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Today we're joined by journalist and Arsenal fan James Balesfield. Thank you very much for coming on, mate. You've had a very up and down season, with the start being quite ropey, and now you're sitting somewhat pretty in a Champions League place after a great run of form for you boys. We're nearly halfway through the season now. How do you think it's gone for you?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a rollercoaster season so far for us. I think the first game against Brentford was a bit of a blip because we had a lot of players out with COVID and injuries, and they were completely up for that game. It was their first game in the Premier League in ages. But the games against Chelsea and Man City, and then Liverpool, Man United and Everton, apart from the City game, they're all a bit poor performances from us. The games that we have won and played well in, we've been playing exactly the football that Arteta wants to play this season, and you can tell by the signings that we've made and the impact they've had in the team that we're having a decent season so far. Yeah.
Who's been your standout player so far this season? You touched on the signings there of Ramsdale, who's been superb for you in the sticks. But who do you think your best player has been this season?
Been quite a lot of standout players, and if you asked me this last season, it would have been so much easier. It would have been Aubameyang, Leno, Saka, one of them three. This season, I do think it's Smith Rowe. He's scored our most goals in the Premier League for us. He's scored 6 goals now, I think, and he just brings a burst of energy every time he comes onto the pitch. It's so nice to watch him running with the ball. I think it was Jamie Carragher that said that he's the best with the ball at his feet in the league, and I agree.
Looking at the game and touching on a game tomorrow, can I get a score prediction from you and how you think the game's going to go?
I've got 2 score predictions. So I've got my head and my gut. I think 3-1 Arsenal is my head prediction. If we stick with the same kind of team, that will be able to carry on our consistency that we've seen in the past couple of games. But my gut feeling is that you'll win 2-1 or something, or just nick it, something like that, because our away form has been pretty poor so far this year, and Ellen Road isn't the easiest of places to go and get a result. So my gut feeling is 2-1, but hopefully my head's right this week.
So all eyes now here on Ellen Road for the tea time kickoff against Arsenal, who suddenly find themselves in the top 4 for the first time in 14 months after that win over West Ham. This is going to be a really tough game, but 2 rivals going back so many years. It's going to be a good one. Yeah, let's hope so. And I think Mikel Arteta, he's had his critics at some points, but I think he's doing a brilliant job. Great, say young manager, not a lot of experience as management, obviously won stuff already. Great player, played against Mikel myself when he was at Everton, I think, and good guy, knows football inside out. Obviously he's had a great tutor, if you want to call him that. Pep, can't really call Pep a tutor, can I? But you know what I mean? He's kind of learned, hasn't he, from one of the best as well. So he understands how the game should be played. And we've seen with the squad at Arsenal, so young, so much, players who are kind of new to an Arsenal kind of way, because Arsenal were always hard to beat from my era. And nowadays they have got a bit of, that stability as well.
You know, Ben White, obviously ex-Leeds player, don't like to talk about him too much, but you know, he was a good player, solid player, and they've got other players, and then Smith Rowe's got his goal. He looks like he could be a top player for Arsenal. But there's others, Lacazette, obviously Aubameyang has his problems, and Lacazette stepped up in the last game and did really well. And I think he's another one that we've got to watch out for, Lacazette. He goes under the radar a little bit, but he does a lot of unselfish work and he gets stuck in as well, and he knows the game. So he's more of a senior player, and around that, you know, people like Martinelli, people like so quick, can change a game.
They play some really good football. I mean, that Lacazette goal against Southampton, was it? I mean, back to front in the it was kind of very Bielsa-esque, wasn't it? It was that kind of a goal, and Lacazette, like you say, you know, really will be in a rich vein of form. They'll come here really confident.
They will, and I think with Arteta, when you look at him, he's up for it, isn't he? And I know you say that about a lot of managers, but I do really like the way he kind of, you know, there's no messing about with Aubameyang, if that's the right name. I always get that one wrong. But, you know, it was like something's happened, so he's dealt with it straight away. It's not lingered on.
That's the best way to do it.
I generally think that's
show
right.
The bosses
And yeah, and it's showing he's the boss. So you mess about, you're out of the team, simple as that. And the other players have come in, have done brilliant. So good luck trying to get your place back.
Yeah. In terms of the game, I mean, we're decimated with injuries. There's no other way of really putting it. Another couple go onto the injury list this week after the game in midweek. How hard is that as a depleted squad to be able to, you know, put players in to fill positions? It's a nightmare scenario for Marcelo.
It is. It's very, very tricky. Like you say, when you're losing players, it seems to be like every time we play a game, someone's getting an injury. And I think at times, as a player, you can't look into that too much. You've just got to go out there and do your job. And we know who our leaders are, and it's about them standing up and be counted, because if we don't, against a good Arsenal side again, who are a threat and are improving, and Arteta, I want to keep this little run going again. They've won a couple of games on the bounce. But the other side of that coin for me is that the fans are going to be right up for this. They'll know that we need them, and we do. We'll need the fans for this game. It's a very important game against a really good side who are on the up. So from a fan's point of view, I need everyone to get behind the team for this game.
Nothing erases a defeat quite like a victory. So Dom, let's get your final pre-Christmas prediction here on the warm-up for Leeds against Arsenal. He's already got a smile on his face. Look at that.
No, listen, tough game. We want 3 points, 1,000,000%. So I'm going to go 2-1.
All right,
for a change. For a change.
Dom on Christmas Day will be sat in his Christmas shirt, tucking into a mince pie, happy with the 3 points in the bag. It's all good.
Take that all day long.
Okay, thank you so much for watching the warm-up. As always, with you every week. And of course, your commentary team for Leeds United against Arsenal will be Bryn Law and Tony DeRigo. Have a very Merry Christmas.
The safety of everyone is our priority on a match day, and the club are taking necessary steps to keep us all safe, in line with the updated Premier League protocols.
All fans attending games must be prepared to show their COVID pass or a negative COVID test on arrival.
You could be denied entry if you are unable to show either of these.
Everyone must complete the COVID declaration, which will be sent to each fan via email before each match.
It is important to remember that if you have any COVID-19 symptoms, to stay at home.
We're also asking supporters to wear face masks where possible, especially indoors and in congested areas.
Let's help to protect each other and stay as safe as possible, marching on together.